The mysterious signal first appeared on Dr. Nathan Carter's monitor at 2:13 a.m. He had been alone in the observatory that night, running routine scans of the Sagittarius constellation, when his equipment detected something unusual. The pattern wasn't random noise or a pulsar. It was structured, repeating with mathematical precision. Nathan rubbed his tired eyes and leaned closer to the screen. After 15 years of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, he'd grown accustomed to disappointment. But this was different. He reached for his phone and called Dr. Lisa Gomes, his colleague and the observatory's signal analysis expert. "Lisa, I need you here now," he said, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "It's the middle of the night, Nathan," she replied sleepily. "I found something. Something real." 40 minutes later, Lisa stood beside Nathan, her face illuminated by the blue glow of the monitor. Her eyes widened as she watched the signal pattern repeat. "This isn't natural," she whispered. "The regularity, the mathematical sequence, it's artificial." "That's what I thought," Nathan said. "But where is it coming from?" They worked through the night, analyzing the signal's origin. By dawn, they had traced it to a star system nearly 30 light-years away. "We need to decode this," Lisa said, pouring her third cup of coffee. "If someone sent this message, they must have wanted us to understand it." They spent the next 3 days working nonstop. The observatory director gave them full access to the facility's computing resources. Other staff members joined their efforts, excitement building as they made progress. On the 4th day, Lisa burst into Nathan's office, clutching a tablet. "We've got it," she said, her face pale. "It's a warning." The message began with basic mathematical constants, an introduction designed to prove its intelligent origin. Then came images, star maps, diagrams of ships, and finally, words translated into several Earth languages. "We are the Valkyrie," Nathan read aloud. "Your world has been targeted by the Shivan Empire. You have one orbital cycle of your planet to prepare. We offer this warning and assistance where we can." Lisa placed her tablet on Nathan's desk. "There's more. Technical data, specifications for defensive systems beyond anything we've developed." "Who are these Valkyrie? Why would they help us?" Nathan asked. "The message doesn't say," Lisa replied. "But it's clear they're not the threat. These Shivans are." They contacted government officials immediately. Within hours, representatives from NASA and the military arrived at the observatory. Days of debriefing followed as experts confirmed what Nathan and Lisa already knew. The signal was authentic. When they presented their findings to a special United Nations session, the world leaders reacted with skepticism. "This could be an elaborate hoax," said one diplomat. "Or misinterpreted data," suggested another. Nathan stood before the assembly, frustrated by their reluctance to accept the truth. "We've verified the signal's origin. It comes from a specific star system, traveling at light speed. The mathematical principles in the message are universal. This is real." As debate continued, a UN security officer rushed into the chamber and handed a note to the Secretary General. The room fell silent as he read it. "We've received a second transmission," he announced. "It contains detailed blueprints for defensive systems and a countdown clock." Images appeared on the chamber's main screen, technical diagrams that even the most advanced military scientists in the room couldn't fully comprehend. "These are weapons and shield technologies," Lisa explained. "They're giving us the tools to defend ourselves." The reality finally sank in. Earth wasn't alone in the universe, and it was in danger. "How long do we have?" the Secretary General asked. Nathan checked the decoded countdown timer from the message. 342 days, he answered, less than a year before they arrive. The chamber erupted in urgent conversation. As fears spread through the assembly, Nathan and Lisa exchanged glances. The warning had come just in time. Now humanity had to unite like never before if it wanted to survive. The United Nations emergency session stretched into its third day. Dr. Nathan Carter and Dr. Lisa Gomes had barely slept. answering endless questions about the alien warning. World leaders remained divided, with many still doubting the message's authenticity. Then came the breakthrough they needed. "We've received a third transmission," announced the UN Secretary-General. "It contains visual proof." The main screen displayed images of a vast armada of ships moving through space. The vessels were clearly artificial, with sleek designs that suggested advanced technology far beyond Earth's capabilities. Following these images came more detailed blueprints for defensive systems. "These plans are real," said General Alan Peters, head of the International Scientific Committee, hastily assembled to evaluate the Valkyrie data. "We've tested the basic principles. The physics works." The mood in the chamber shifted. Fear gave way to resolve. Within hours, the Security Council passed Resolution 2537, calling for an unprecedented global cooperation effort. 2 weeks later, the Global Defense Initiative was formed. Admiral William Hayes, a respected naval commander known for his calm under pressure, was appointed to lead it. "We face an existential threat," Admiral Hayes said in his first address. "But we have been given a chance. The Valkyrie warning has provided us with technology that might save us. Now we must put aside our differences and work together." Nations that had been enemies for generations began sharing resources and expertise. Scientific teams from China collaborated with American engineers. Russian military specialists worked alongside their European counterparts. For the first time in human history, almost every country contributed to a single cause: survival. "We're prioritizing the shield system," explained Dr. Maya Rodriguez, the lead scientist on the Planetary Defense Project. "If we can create a barrier around Earth, we might buy enough time to develop effective countermeasures." Construction began on massive shield generators at strategic locations around the globe. The first was built in the Nevada desert, a sprawling complex of new technology that hummed with energy when activated. Similar installations appeared in the Gobi Desert, the Australian outback, and the Russian steppes. Not everyone embraced the new global unity. Protests erupted in major cities, with some groups claiming the alien warning was a hoax designed to create a world government. Others formed apocalyptic cults, believing the end was inevitable. Admiral Hayes addressed these concerns in a global broadcast. "I understand your fear. I feel it too. But I've seen the evidence, and I know the threat is real. Every minute we spend fighting among ourselves is a minute lost in our preparation." His words resonated with many. Public opinion polls showed increasing support for the GDI as the first successful tests of Valkyrie technology were broadcast worldwide. The shield system's first test came 4 months after the initial warning. A small prototype dome covered a test facility in Canada. Scientists fired missiles and energy weapons at the shield, watching in amazement as everything was deflected. "It works," Lisa told Nathan as they watched the test results. "We might actually have a chance." Nathan nodded, but his expression remained serious. "We still don't know why the Valkyrie are helping us, or what these Shivans really want." "One problem at a time," Lisa replied. "Right now, we focus on defense." As the SHIELD network expanded, other projects moved forward. Military forces worldwide trained together in new tactics. Space agencies collaborated on orbital defenses. Universities opened their research facilities for weapons development. Admiral Hayes established a global countdown visible in every town square and on every phone screen. The number decreased daily: 294 days, 293 days, 292 days. The clock was ticking, but for the first time since receiving the warning, there was hope. Humanity had found unity in the face of an alien threat, setting aside centuries of conflict in mere months. As shield generators rose across the planet, Earth prepared for a battle unlike any in its history. A fight not just for a nation or an ideology, but for the very survival of the human species. 6 months after the initial warning, Earth had transformed. Shield generators dotted the planet's surface, connected by a network of power stations that drew energy from every available source. The metallic structures towered over landscapes, their tops pulsing with blue light during testing phases. Colonel Samantha Reed walked through the Nevada complex, inspecting the newly installed systems. At 52, she had come out of retirement when Admiral Hayes personally requested her leadership for the orbital defense program. "How soon can we get the first platform operational?" she asked, looking up at the shield dome. 2 weeks, replied her chief engineer. "But that's rushing it." "Rush it," Samantha said firmly. "The Shivans won't wait." In orbit, construction teams worked around the clock, assembling defense platforms using components manufactured on Earth. The International Space Station had been converted into a command center, coordinating the growing network of satellites designed to detect approaching threats. Back on Earth, the third transmission from the Valkyrie had yielded unexpected benefits. Hidden within the technical data were advancements in energy production and materials science that accelerated human technology by decades. "We're implementing technologies we barely understand," Dr. Jack Foster admitted during a briefing with the GDI Council. A civilian scientist who specialized in quantum physics, he had been recruited from a small university in Oregon. "But I found a way to enhance the shield harmonics using principles from the Valkyrie data." Admiral Hayes leaned forward. "Will it work?" "In theory," Jack said. "But we need to test it at full scale." The council approved his request, and within days, the Nevada shield generator was modified with Jack's enhancements. When activated, the shield's strength doubled while using less power. "Implement this worldwide," Hayes ordered. Immediately. As shield technology advanced, military forces prepared for ground combat. No one knew if the Shivans would attempt to land troops, but humanity wouldn't be caught unprepared. Soldiers from different nations trained together in new combat techniques, using weapons developed from Valkyrie blueprints. "Remember, we know almost nothing about our enemy," General Carlos Diaz told his international battalion. "We must be ready for anything." The countdown timer reached the 150-day mark when the Valkyrie sent their fourth transmission. This one contained detailed information about Shivan ships, including potential weaknesses in their design. "They're giving us more and more," Lisa said to Nathan as they analyzed the new data, "but still nothing about why they're helping us." Nathan nodded. "I've been wondering if they have some history with the Shivans. Maybe they were victims once too." While scientists worked to understand the alien data, the first orbital defense platform achieved operational status. Named Guardian 1, the satellite carried both defensive shields and offensive capabilities designed to target approaching vessels. "One down, 11 to go," Samantha said as she watched the successful deployment from Mission Control. The pace of construction increased as the deadline approached. Nations contributed their entire aerospace industries to the effort. Factories ran day and night, producing components for the defense network. Millions of people worldwide worked on the project, united by a common purpose. "We're making progress faster than I thought possible," Admiral Hayes told the UN Security Council. "But we need more time." Time was the one resource they couldn't create. The countdown continued relentlessly. 120 days, 90 days, 60 days. Then came the news they had been dreading. Long-range detection systems picked up movement at the edge of the solar system. Something was approaching from the direction indicated in the Valkyrie warning. "Advanced scouts," Admiral Hayes announced grimly during an emergency broadcast. "The main fleet is still out there, but they've sent ahead their first ships to test our defenses." Earth's partially completed shield system would face its first real test much sooner than anyone had expected. The planet held its breath as the alien vessels drew closer day by day. The battle for humanity's survival was about to begin. The first Shivan scout ships entered Earth's orbit on a Tuesday morning. They were sleek, dark vessels that absorbed light rather than reflected it, making them difficult to track even with the advanced detection grid humanity had established. Admiral Hayes watched from the orbital command center as the alien ships positioned themselves strategically around the planet. "They're studying our defenses," he said, his voice tense. "Prepare for engagement." For 12 hours, the scouts maintained their distance, scanning Earth's shield network and defense platforms. Then, without warning, they attacked. Energy weapons unlike anything seen before lashed out at Guardian 1, the first of Earth's orbital platforms. The satellite's shields flared bright blue as they absorbed the impact, holding firm but draining power rapidly. All defense platforms, return fire, Hayes ordered. Earth's weapons responded, launching salvos of missiles enhanced with Valkyrie technology. Most were intercepted by the Shivan defenses, but a few connected, causing visible damage to one scout ship. The Shivans changed tactics immediately. 3 vessels broke formation and dived toward Earth's atmosphere, targeting the shield generators in Nevada, Australia, and China. Lieutenant Olivia Martinez sat in the cockpit of her prototype fighter at Edwards Air Force Base when the alert came through. At 28, she was the youngest squadron leader in the Global Defense Initiative's Aerospace Division. "Eagle Squadron, scramble now," she commanded, already taxiing toward the runway. Shivan ships approaching Nevada generator. 6 fighters took off, their engines roaring as they climbed toward the approaching threat. They were the first combat-ready aircraft equipped with Valkyrie-inspired technology, designed specifically to engage alien vessels. "Remember your training," Olivia told her pilots. "Their hulls are strongest at the front. Target engine sections and weapon ports." The Shivan scout ship descended through clouds, its dark hull reflecting the morning sunlight. It was massive compared to the Earth fighters, at least 10 times their size. "Weapons hot," Olivia said, locking her targeting system. "Let's show them what humans can do." The fighters attacked in pairs, weaving around energy beams fired by the scout ship. 2 Eagles were hit, spiraling toward the ground before their pilots could eject. The remaining 4 continued their assault, firing specialized missiles at the Shivan's engine section. A direct hit caused the alien ship to shudder. Its descent faltered momentarily before it resumed course toward the shield generator. Meanwhile, across the globe, similar battles played out. The Australian Defence Forces managed to drive off their attacker, but the Chinese generator took significant damage before ground-based weapons could respond. In orbit, the situation grew dire. 3 more defense platforms were destroyed, their crews evacuating in emergency pods. Admiral Hayes ordered the activation of the planetary shield, even though the network was only 70% complete. "Generator stations, initiate full power," he commanded. Across Earth, the massive shield generators hummed as they channeled unprecedented amounts of energy. The air above each installation shimmered as shield segments formed, gradually connecting to create a protective barrier around portions of the planet. The Nevada generator, still under attack, struggled to maintain power. Olivia's squadron had been reduced to just her fighter and 1 other, but they continued to harass the Shivan vessel, preventing it from landing a decisive blow. "We can't keep this up much longer," her wingman said, his voice strained. "We don't need to," Olivia replied. "Just a few more minutes for the shield to stabilize." The Shivan ship fired another barrage, striking the generator's cooling systems. Alarms blared as temperatures rose to critical levels, but the facility's crew worked frantically to reroute power and maintain the shield. Just as the Nevada section of the planetary shield reached full strength, a new transmission arrived from the Valkyrie. It contained precise coordinates for a weakness in Shivan vessel design, a vulnerability not visible in earlier data. "Target these exact points," came the order from command. Olivia locked onto the newly identified weak spot and fired her last missile. It struck with unerring accuracy, causing the Shivan ship to shudder violently before veering away from the generator, trailing dark smoke as it climbed back toward space. The first attack had been repelled, but at a heavy cost. Thousands were dead, several major cities had suffered bombardment, and parts of the defense network lay in ruins. As Earth counted its losses, long-range sensors detected a much larger signature approaching. The main Shivan fleet had arrived. The main Shivan fleet appeared as a dark cloud against the stars, hundreds of vessels ranging from small fighters to massive battleships. Earth's long-range cameras captured images that were broadcast to command centers worldwide. The sight sent a chill through even the most hardened military personnel. Engineer Paul Wilson hadn't slept in 3 days. Since the scout ship attack, he had been locked in his lab at the underground facility in Colorado, studying the data from the Valkyrie's latest transmission. "There's something here," he muttered, eyes bloodshot, as he scrolled through the technical specifications. "The Shivans use a quantum field harmonizer to power their main weapons. If we can disrupt that frequency..." His assistant handed him another cup of coffee. "Even if you're right, how would we deliver such a disruption?" Paul looked up, a spark of inspiration in his tired eyes. "The same way you deliver any message. You need to knock on the front door." Within hours, Paul presented his findings to Admiral Hayes and the Global Defense Council. He explained how the Shivans' own technology could be turned against them through a precisely calibrated energy pulse. "It won't destroy their ships," he concluded, "but it could disable their primary weapons long enough for our forces to strike." Hayes nodded slowly. "How soon can you build a prototype?" 2 days, Paul replied. "Maybe less." "You have one," Hayes said grimly. "The Shivan fleet will be in firing range by tomorrow night." As Paul rushed back to his lab, Commander Eric Jackson was briefed on what would become humanity's most daring mission. A veteran special operations officer, Eric had been selected to lead a small team to infiltrate the Shivan command ship. "Your team will deploy from our last stealth shuttle," Admiral Hayes explained. "You'll carry Wilson's device and activate it manually on the target vessel." Eric studied the holographic display of the Shivan formation. "How do we identify the command ship?" "The Valkyrie data suggests it's this one." Hayes pointed to a larger vessel near the center of the fleet. "Different energy signature, more communication traffic." 12 hours later, Eric's team of 6 prepared for their mission. Each member had been chosen for specific skills. Amy Rodriguez for engineering, Kevin Patel for communications, Finn O'Malley for explosives, and twins Daniel and Diana Baker for combat expertise. "This is probably a one-way trip," Eric told them honestly during their final briefing. "Our primary objective is to deploy Wilson's device. Secondary objective is to gather any intelligence on Shivan capabilities and intentions." Meanwhile, the planetary shield struggled to maintain integrity. The incomplete network had been pushed to its limits during the scout attack, and emergency repairs were still underway when the main fleet arrived. Dr. Laura Chen made her discovery almost by accident. As a xenobiologist, she had been analyzing the limited data on Shivan biology from the Valkyrie transmissions when she noticed a pattern. "They're not just attacking us randomly," she explained to Lisa and Nathan at the main research center. "They're targeting specific biomes and ocean regions. It's our ecosystem they want." Nathan frowned. "Why would an advanced species travel light years for our biology?" "Because Earth is unique," Laura replied. "Our planet has a biodiversity unlike anything in their empire. To them, we're not the target. We're just in the way." As this revelation spread through command channels, the Shivan fleet moved into position. Their massive ships formed a sphere around Earth, ignoring the moon completely. Admiral Hayes ordered all operational defense platforms to prepare for engagement. Commander Eric's team launched in the stealth shuttle, using the chaos of the initial skirmishes as cover to approach the command ship. Paul Wilson's device, now completed and tested, sat securely in a shielded case. "Approaching target," the pilot reported. "No sign they've detected us." Eric checked his oxygen supply and weapon one last time. "Remember, we need 15 minutes once the device is active. Set your timers and move fast." The shuttle docked with the Shivan vessel, magnetic clamps securing it to the alien hull. Eric's team cut through the outer shell using tools designed from Valkyrie specifications. They entered the ship, moving through strange corridors lit by a pulsing red glow. Inside Earth's command center, Admiral Hayes watched the timer counting down to the device's activation. If Eric's team succeeded, Earth would have a brief window to strike at the temporarily disabled Shivan fleet. "All defense forces, prepare for coordinated assault," Hayes ordered. This may be our only chance. Commander Eric Jackson moved through the alien corridor, his team following in tight formation. The inside of the Shivan command ship was eerily organic, with walls that seemed to pulse like living tissue. The air was breathable but carried a metallic taste that tingled on their tongues. 200 meters to the central power hub, Amy Rodriguez whispered, checking the schematic derived from Valkyrie data. We should encounter resistance soon. As if summoned by her words, a door slid open ahead of them. 3 Shivan soldiers emerged, tall, insectoid creatures with 4 arms and gleaming black carapaces. They carried weapons that glowed with the same red energy they had witnessed during the attacks on Earth. The twins, Daniel and Diana Baker, moved in perfect synchronization. Their specialized weapons fired pulses designed to interfere with Shivan neural systems. 2 of the aliens dropped immediately, but the third fired, the energy beam narrowly missing Kevin's head. Finn O'Malley rolled forward and placed a small device on the floor. It emitted a high-pitched sound that caused the remaining Shivan to clutch at what passed for its ears. Diana's second shot brought it down. "Move," Eric ordered. "They'll know we're here now." The team pushed forward, encountering increasingly fierce resistance. They lost O'Malley to a Shivan ambush. 3 corridors later, his body vaporized by a direct hit. Kevin Patil was injured but insisted on continuing. Finally, they'd reached the power hub, a massive chamber dominated by a pulsing crystal structure that bathed everything in red light. "That's where Wilson's device needs to go," Amy said, pointing to a junction where energy conduits met. Eric nodded. "Cover me." As he moved toward the target, alarms blared throughout the ship. The team formed a defensive perimeter, firing at Shivan soldiers pouring through multiple entrances. Eric reached the junction and attached Wilson's device, a small box of Earth manufacture merged with Valkyrie technology. He activated the sequence and checked the timer. 15 minutes until full charge. "Device is hot," he called to his team. Defensive positions. Back on Earth, Admiral Hayes received the confirmation signal. "All units prepare," he ordered. "Device activation in 14 minutes and counting." The battle outside intensified. Shivan ships fired relentlessly at Earth's shields, which flickered dangerously in several sectors. Orbital platforms returned fire, scoring occasional hits but suffering heavy losses. Lieutenant Olivia Martinez led what remained of Earth's fighter squadrons in desperate harassing attacks, trying to draw fire away from the weakening shield generators. As the countdown passed the 5-minute mark, something unexpected happened. A new ship appeared at the edge of the solar system, larger than any Shivan vessel, but with a distinctly different design. It moved with impossible speed, reaching Earth's orbit in minutes. "Unknown vessel approaching," reported the sensor officer. "It's not Shivan." The new ship positioned itself between Earth and the Shivan fleet. A transmission came through on all frequencies, translated into multiple Earth languages. "We are the Valkyrie. We come in peace to Earth." A stunned silence fell over the command center. After months of communications, the mysterious allies had finally arrived in person. The Valkyrie ship launched small, swift vessels that darted through the Shivan formation, drawing fire away from Earth. Their technology was clearly superior, their shields easily absorbing attacks that had devastated Earth's defenses. A request came for direct communication. Admiral Hayes approved immediately. The main screen showed the interior of the Valkyrie vessel. Their appearance surprised everyone. They were almost human-like in form, though taller and with pale blue skin and large, luminous eyes. "I am Sentinel Elover of the Valkyrie Protectorate," the alien said through a translator device. "We regret we could not arrive sooner. Ancient treaties restricted our direct intervention until the Shivans initiated open conflict." "Why help us at all?" Hayes asked. "We too were once victims of the Shivan Empire," Elover explained. "They destroyed our homeworld centuries ago. We survived as refugees, rebuilding our civilization, while bound by the Galactic Accords not to seek revenge. but we could warn others and provide defensive knowledge. Susan Miller, the UN Secretary-General's representative, stepped forward. You risked breaking these accords to help us. We found a loophole, Ilover replied, a gesture like a smile crossing their features. Warning potential victims is permitted. The technology we shared was carefully chosen to comply with restrictions. The Shivan ultimatum appeared on screens worldwide, translated into every major language. The message was simple: surrender Earth and its biological resources, or face complete destruction. Admiral Hayes stood before the Emergency Council of World Leaders, his face resolute. We've come too far to surrender. 5 years after the Shivan retreat, Earth had transformed. Cities now featured Valkyrie-inspired architecture alongside human designs. Schools taught both Earth history and galactic politics. The night sky looked different too, filled with orbital platforms, defensive arrays, and construction facilities where new ships took shape. Nathan Carter stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, Earth's first major orbital habitat. Below him, the blue planet shimmered with life, shield generators now disguised as architectural features rather than standing as obvious military installations. Beautiful view, Lisa Gomes said, joining him at the window. Now Admiral Gomes, she commanded Earth's growing exploration fleet. Hard to believe how close we came to losing it all, Nathan replied. Their conversation was interrupted by the station's announcement system. Attention all personnel. The Vanguard will dock in 15 minutes. First contact team, please report to Bay 12. The Vanguard was returning from humanity's first diplomatic mission beyond the local star cluster. Captain Olivia Martinez had led the expedition to meet with the Coalition of Free Worlds, a loose alliance of species who had also resisted Shivan expansion. Nathan and Lisa made their way to the docking bay, joining Admiral Hayes and Sentinel Ilover. In the years since first contact, Ilover had become Earth's primary liaison with the wider galactic community. Nervous? Hayes asked Nathan. A little, he admitted. This changes everything again. The Vanguard docked smoothly, its hull bearing minor scorch marks from some unknown encounter. When the airlock opened, Captain Martinez emerged first, followed by her senior officers and 3 non-human figures. Admiral. Olivia saluted. May I present Ambassador Threll of the Nezran Republic, Ambassador K. Vosh of the Medusan Consortium, and Grand Architect Zol of the Tellurian Union. The 3 aliens stepped forward. Threll was tall and slender with iridescent scales covering his body. K. Vosh resembled a jellyfish supported by a mechanical frame. Zol appeared almost human except for her silver skin and 4 arms. Welcome to Earth, Admiral Hayes said, bowing slightly. Zol spoke first, her translator converting her musical language to English. We have come to formalize the expanded alliance. The Shivan Empire has withdrawn from 3 more sectors since your victory. Their hold on the galaxy weakens with each passing cycle. Ambassador Threll nodded, his scales shifting color. Your species accomplished in one battle what others have failed to achieve in centuries. The Coalition values strength and innovation. You have demonstrated both. K. Vosh's tentacles waved in what Ilover had explained was a gesture of respect. More importantly, you fought not to conquer but to survive. The Coalition has monitored your subsequent development. You have focused on exploration and diplomacy rather than military expansion. That is humanity's true strength. Ilover added, the ability to face extinction and emerge with optimism rather than vengeance. The diplomatic party moved to Harmony Station's conference center, where representatives from Earth's nations waited. The formal alliance signing would bring humanity into a network of civilizations spanning thousands of light years. Outside the station, Eric Jackson piloted a small security vessel. Now General Jackson, he led Earth's rapid response forces, though actual combat had been rare since the Shivan defeat. General, sensors detecting unusual activity near Mars, his co-pilot reported. Eric frowned. Shivan? No, sir. Different signature entirely. Not matching anything in the Valkyrie database. Eric opened a secure channel to Admiral Hayes. "Sir, we may have another visitor." As the alliance ceremony began, a new ship appeared in the solar system. Meter Shivan, more belonging to any known coalition species. It approached cautiously, broadcasting a simple message on all frequencies. "We have watched. We have waited. Now we come to join those who broke the chains." Earth's defenses activated automatically but held their fire. The mysterious vessel maintained distance, seemingly content to observe for now. Inside the conference center, the signing proceeded without interruption. The participants remained unaware that yet another chapter in humanity's cosmic journey was about to begin, one that would take them further into the galactic community than anyone had imagined. As Earth celebrated its new alliances, the unknown ship sent one final message before disappearing back into deep space. "The test is complete. Earth has passed. We will return when the time is right." Nathan Carter, looking out a viewport during the celebration, caught a glimpse of the departing visitor. Something told him that humanity's greatest adventures and challenges still lay ahead.